I will completely disappear, the ball of yarn mused, unraveling and shrinking in size, growing deeply concerned. White and fluffy, it stood out among the balls, lying in a small basket. Waiting for its turn, the balls observed with interest as the skilled grandmother's hands turned colorful yarn into beautiful garments, socks, mittens, scarves. And now she began knitting a little hat for her granddaughter from the white yarn. However, this ball of yarn did not like the craftswoman's idea at all. To become a little girl's hat and see the world through grandma's granddaughter's eyes? To keep warm in the cold and lie all summer in the closet as an unwanted thing? No way, decided the white ball of yarn firmly and abruptly jumped out of the basket. And the delicate thread snapped. I can manage perfectly fine on my own. Delighted with his freedom, the ball of yarn leaped over the doorstep, lightly hopped off the porch, and rolled across the yard. Meanwhile, on the lawn by the house, lazy cats basked in the sunshine. Spotting the ball of yarn, the bored kitties quickly perked up. The ball of yarn later couldn't recall how many there were, 3, 5, perhaps more? Or just 3? It became a bit confusing. Oh well, it didn't matter. He only remembered being in the playful paws of one cat, then another, then returning to the first, slipping out from their grasp, and ending up with a third. How wonderful, he managed to think amidst the rapidly changing kaleidoscope of events. The cats frolicked. Along with them, the white ball of yarn frolicked, unaware that he was turning gray from the street dust and tattered from sharp cat claws. Alas, the festive spirit ended as abruptly as it began. Suddenly, everything darkened around him. The ball of yarn only just saw the sun disappear behind cloud-covered skies. Sensing the storm approaching, all the cats, as one, darted for cover, leaving the ball of yarn alone. He quickly became soaked where the downpour caught him. Through and through. Rolling under the shelter became impossible. Losing his lightness, the ball of yarn lost his agility. And where could he go through such muddy puddles? Realizing that he couldn't save his lower half from the mud seeping in, he froze in one position, hoping to preserve the cleanliness of his top, which had lightened again from the rain. And there he lay, waiting. For what? The ball of yarn himself didn't know what he was waiting for. Yet wait he did. Eventually, the downpour subsided. The clouds dispersed. The sun reappeared, and the rainwater gradually receded. Emerging from their hiding spots, the cats wanted to continue their carefree fun. The first one to reach the ball of yarn, grabbing him, immediately dropped him with disgust, wet, half dirty, unintentionally soiling her. Out of annoyance, she nudged him, and he rolled, now covered in a thick layer of unpleasant, sticky mud. The ball of yarn was no longer of interest to the cats. How long he lay under the porch, where he ended up that day, no one knew. He had long since dried, yet he lacked the strength and desire to roll out from his forgotten haven. The ball of yarn had lost track of days, but he was still alive. By night. At night, he dreamed the same dream. Where he was once again white and fluffy, finding himself in the paws of the mischievous ones who had abandoned him. Upon waking, the ball of yarn despised cats. All of them together. It never occurred to those foolish creatures to unwind the dirty layer of yarn that concealed his former self, ready to frolic and play endlessly. Everything passes. This too passed. Now neither day nor night brought him joy. Overwhelmed by a sudden melancholy, he no longer desired anything. Yes, Grandma, I'll go to the store for bread. Fluttering out of the house, the girl on the porch suddenly stopped, and the ball of yarn heard a chime. A coin dropped from the child's hand, bouncing playfully, rolled through a crack in the porch, and unexpectedly landed beside him. Ah, there you are. We searched the whole house, the granddaughter exclaimed, grabbing the ball of yarn, and hurried back inside to delight her grandmother. His appearance didn't frighten her. She knew Grandma would unravel him, wash him, whiten him, gather him back into a fluffy ball, and certainly knit herself a hat. The ball of yarn, finding himself in the warm palm, froze in confusion. Miracles happen. It finally dawned on him, and he suddenly realized what he had been desperately waiting for all this long.